Hey kids, you're listening to a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
Everybody hurts sometimes.
That's right, we're the Simpsons podcast that discusses the beloved animated sitcom from the country known as America and the planet known as Earth. From seasons 11 and beyond to the newest ones with the air. Why do we do it this way? Well, you know, an entity called Wheel of Random has trapped us and cursed us, and all around just hates us, and has forced us to watch those episodes because seasons 1 through 10 have been talked about in many podcasts out there. So we're tasked to find if there's any episodes from the later seasons that can match those golden age episodes that we all know and love. But I don't do this alone because I'm just one annoyed grunt boy named Craig. With me is the other annoyed grunt boy,
Steve. Hello, Craig.
Steve. I hope you're having a wonderful spring. It's spring in the world, or is it still considered spring in like Australia? No, is it their fall right now?
I think so. I think they are stepping on leaves and got their umbrellas out.
I'd be a little nervous to be stepping on leaves in Australia because it's either a leaf or a fucking spider. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be any sort of creature. It could be a wallaby boo or a Tasmanian devil. It could be.
Now, I've never been to Australia, and it's one of the countries I would like to visit in my lifetime. But when you're in Australia, you have to like wear a harness strapped to the ground, right? Because if you don't, you just fall into space, right? Since they're upside down underneath where we're at, right?
As is my understanding, yes. That's right.
Like, it must be dizzy to like walk like, whoa, if your hair is like falling to the sky because, you know, like, it's down.
Yeah, and I think that they wear shoes on their hands and hamburgers eat them.
I'd like to think that this is someone's first time listening to our podcast and is like, are these guys really that dumb? They think Australia's upside down? And the answer is yes, we are dumb. Welcome, everybody.
I assume that the Hobbits turned New Zealand right side up, and that's how they were able to film those movies.
Yeah, why was it called Middle Earth? It should have been called Upside Down Earth.
Or even Bottom Earth, but that's a club.
It's also the fun arrogance of us Americans. Like, well, America's on top number one. Like, we're the center of the planet, right?
That is so true. Like, we have such a mentality of being the better hemisphere because north means up, when really it's all dumb map making that isn't true. Yeah, it's silly.
Remember that episode of West Wing? Wait, is this an episode of Are You Joshing on My Leo, the comprehensive West Wing podcast hosted by a couple of annoyed grunt boys?
That's right. I think about that episode all of the time.
Well, we have to put context into what I'm talking about, because people don't know.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
There's an episode, and I think it's part of the, they did a couple of these episodes where is it the Big Cheese Wheel episode? Is that what it is?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Where they have a set aside for people to come in to pitch, to pitch their ideas for America. It's essentially like they want the staff to hear, like, new bills or laws that should be passed, or things that are concerning to American citizens. And usually it's like fluff pieces or like, really, you want to talk about this. And one was, I forget the name. Steve, look up what the name of that map is, because this is a real thing.
It's the Gull-Peterson map.
The Gull-Peterson. So these people come in and talk about the Gull-Peterson map and how like Rand McNally has been fucking us over. And this isn't just like writers on TV like making up stuff. This is actual truth, that the way we view the world from our globes that we see in our schools and like the maps that we see, it's all fictional. Like, but if you look at like Greenland is really not that huge.
Right.
There's a structural map of like how the Earth actually looks like. And it's also, from our view, it's upside down. So really how the world is a lot different. So technically, based on their map, aren't we more like the Southern Hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's all relative anyway, because even though you have a compass which says north, south, northeast, south, and west, it does not mean up, down, left, right. It just means a direction. And so in space, there is no up or down because it's all space. And if you want, Season 2, Episode 16 is the West Wing episode in question. They can learn more about this. But it is fascinating because we have such a northern-western bias in this country, and actually in Europe too, that we perceive the world to be befitting us more favorably than it actually is. Continents are bigger than we see them. Countries are bigger than we see them, or smaller. And it's silly. And also, there's no dragons in the bottom of the world.
Yeah. I tried to get a book of vacation to Rand McNally, but my travel agent was like, there's no such thing, sir. And also, does my job exist in this day and age? Travel agent?
Probably not.
So yeah, if you look up the Gall Peters map, essentially, I mean, it looks just like, you have North America on your top left and, South America on the bottom left, how the world looks. It almost just looks like they took the map of Earth and like stretched it like up and down. It also creates like a sense of like roundness that we're seeing, like the globe flattened out and not the way it's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It looks it looks round, even though we know the Earth is flat, but yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say, that's where I start to get a little suspicious, but
I don't know how we got off onto the map tangent here, but all I'm saying is to the new listeners out there, usually we are pretty quick on our banter before we talk about the episode. So you're probably sitting around waiting for us to talk about The Simpsons, so let's just do that, okay? I apologize.
All right.
Steve, before we actually talk about The Simpsons, we kind of like to look at a reflection of a year because the episode that we're talking about is from 2005. So we're going to take a look at the popular culture of that week. What America, because that's what's important, was watching and listening to. Steve, tell me, what was the number one movie in the box office for the week of November 27th, 2005?
Well, Craig, we all had our cloaks and our wands because we were watching Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the fourth in the series?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's right.
This was like, the book, Goblet of Fire, was like my first purchase when they were new. Like, I had read the first three during the popularity, but this was the fourth. And you were I think we were together like at a midnight release.
Yes.
For this book. So I think I hold this one like a lot to my heart. Also, it's really hard to talk about the Harry Potter books now because of Emma Watson, the cease and desist order that she filed on us.
Right.
But nothing else from that franchise.
It is unfortunate, yeah.
Look, it's J.K. Rowling. Just shut the fuck up. She keeps just tweeting stupid bullshit. It sucks. But we've decided you're allowed to like that artwork because at the time we didn't know any better.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, I know a lot of kids got into reading because of Harry Potter and like it shaped a lot of lives. And so it's unfortunate that she's an awful, horrible person who doesn't know when to shut up and just wants to spew hate.
It's funny because like she's much like us. She doesn't know when to shut up.
That's true. And that's the only way that she's like us. And by the way, we're not British.
And we're not billionaires.
It's true. And we're also not hateful transphobes.
Right. And
we don't know how to write.
Yet, Steve, yet.
One day.
All I'm going to do is like take the first Harry Potter book and then cross out names, make my own names. And then instead of like a wizard school, it's going to be, genie school.
Isn't that kind of exactly what the author of 50 Shades of Grey did to Twilight?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do the same thing. And then we'll be billionaires. And then we'll say something that we don't agree with and keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it until people hate us even more and more and more.
I find that hard to believe that anybody could hate us more than they already do.
Yeah, because like we stand by like season 34 of The Simpsons as being a GOAT season.
It was a really good season.
I'm using terms like GOAT because younger kids will know what we're talking about. Because we slap and we fire.
Bet, no cap. It was giving Simpsons, yeah.
Hey, speaking of horrible people like J.K. Rowling, Steve, what was the number one song of the Billboard Hot 100?
Oh boy, the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 was "Run It" by Human Garbage, Chris Brown.
I've said many things on this podcast about Chris Brown and my hatred towards the man. So if you guys don't know, I used to be a KJ karaoke jockey at a bar, and if people wanted to put like a Chris Brown song on, I'd be like, nope, sorry.
Good for you.
I wouldn't say like that. I'd be like, oh man, the file's not working. Yeah, you have another song? Because I'm a piece of shit. I'm a chicken shit dude, so yeah.
Yeah. Craig, though, let's get into other genres of music, like maybe rock or alternative. What were we listening to on there?
Steve, I think you know your enemy by the band's name.
Ah, yes, them.
Green Day. You're their enemy.
That's right. Trey Cool has tried to have me killed. Mike Dirt doesn't like me at all. And Billy Joe Armstrong is just fine, but he hates it because I accidentally always called him Billy Joel Armstrong.
I feel like we've been looking at the hot rock alternative charts lately, and Green Day seems to be on a lot of charts.
I think we don't realize it because maybe in our minds they had already been around for a while. But like the 2000s are kind of be like their decade of like prevalence, like from the American Idiot musical on. Like they probably had like a whole string of albums that we probably either tangentially knew about or just didn't care. But like other people like found rock and roll music because of them. So it's interesting.
I mean, it shows my age where I think they only have 2 albums, and that's Dookie and American Idiot. But I'm the real American Idiot because like those albums are awesome. I don't need anything else from you guys. Thanks. But it's cool that they keep doing work.
It's cool, yeah. Good for them. And I mean, they seem like generally like decent people. And so, yeah,
Let's
good
hope
on
so.
them.
Let's hope so. Steve, you know who's having a better life right now?
Who's that?
It's Keith Urban. That was the #1 country song, "Better Life" by Keith Urban.
Ah, yes.
He's having a better life down under.
Down under.
Is he married to what's her name?
Miss AMC herself. Yeah.
Keith Urban, the dude with a lesbian haircut.
And a deceptive name. Keith. It's not a name of a country singer. Keith.
The only country singer we like on this podcast is a little lady known as Beyonce.
That's right. Texas Hold'em.
But unfortunately, she's not the #1 hot dance electric hot one song of... Steve, I don't think you actually do the research for the #1 hot dance electric song, because I swear it's the same song for the past 25 years. It's still Will.i.am and Britney Spears for Scream and Shout.
I promise you I do, and I'm confused every time because, like, did I check that? And so I have to double, triple, sometimes quadruple check it to make sure that I am right and that I have the right date, because that song just will not go away. It makes me want to literally scream and shout. I want to let it all out. I want to bring the action.
Back in the day when we listened to songs, and we don't anymore because of copyright issues. So why are we even doing this bit anymore? Who knows? Doesn't matter. Steve, let's just go into the episode, okay?
Alrighty.
We're talking about the last of the Red Hat Mamas. Homer ruins Marge's chance to make friends, and just when she thinks she'll never have friends, a woman called Tammy offers her to join a group called the Cheery Red Tomatoes. Steve?
Hey.
Let's have a Cherry Red Tomato break and come back and talk about the episode. How about that?
Sounds delightful.
All right, we'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're talking about the last of the Red Hat Mamas. It's the 7th episode of the 17th season, originally aired November 27th, 2005. It's episode 363 in the show's run. Your nerd code is GABF22. Written by Joel H. Cohen, directed by Matthew Nastuk, and the showrunner, Owen Algene.
Ah, yes. So Joel H. Cohen, we've talked about him a bunch, most recently from Frankenstein's Monster back earlier in February. Prolific writer, worked on SNL, worked on Suddenly Susan, and won WGA for Wedding for Disaster from Suddenly Susan. Younger brother of Robert Cohen, who wrote Flaming Moe's, and unrelated to any other Cohens like David S. Cohen or the Brothers Cohen. But we've reviewed 14 episodes of his 38 that he's written so far. Let's see. So, Homer's paternity coot, Brawl in the Family, Marge and Homer turn a couple play, Revenge is a best dish served 3 times, He Loves to Fly and He Does, a great Chicago episode, Lisa Simpson, This Isn't Your Life, just to name a few. And he's still going strong. Like I say, he's still writing in season 5. He's written at least 2 episodes so far, and we'll probably see him again later on the season. So, welcome back to the show, Joel H. Cohen.
He's, we've talked plenty about him. He's in the, probably top 6, I think, Simpsons writers, right?
I think that's fair, yeah.
You see the name a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A Tim Long, or a John Frink, or Seth Rogen, that one episode.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Seth Rogen episode of The Simpsons?
Probably the one that he wrote with the boy.
Did we review that one?
I believe we did, yeah.
Yeah, one of our earlier episodes that we're ashamed of.
To your point, there's a Wikipedia that has a list of Simpsons writers, and other writers you can list by the most prolific, who's written the most. And of course, at number 1, we have John Swartzwelder with 59 episodes. And at number 2, we have Joel H. Cohen with 38. So it's not going to happen this season, but it could foreseeably happen where he could beat John Swartzwelder as the writer with the most episodes.
John Swartzwelder is the Montreal Canadiens of The Simpsons, right? Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, no one's going to beat the Canadiens' record of most Stanley Cups. And, like, I don't think someone's going to outdo Swartzwelder. You really think Cohen's going to do it? I mean, that's still, like, 20-some-odd episodes to go, right?
Didn't you read the news today that season 36 will be all written by George Cohen?
Oh, no. They said there's going to be 52 episodes that year, a new episode a week.
Yeah.
Look, Toronto Maple Leafs are 13 Stanley Cup wins against Montreal Canadiens 24. So,
Wow.
George Cohen is the Maple Leafs.
That's fair.
Seth Rogen is the Vancouver Canucks. They've never won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Seth Rogen, he's from Vancouver, Canada.
Sure. And the Canucks
talking about
have... I don't know why you're so hockey forward already. Like,
Well, and Seth Rogen. Why am I talking about Seth Rogen?
uh-huh. Did you wake up in Vancouver, Canada today?
Yeah, I was like, I want some smoky smoke. And no, I don't smoke marijuana, Steve.
Of course
I
not.
only consume it in edible form.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, look, hockey's on my mind because we're getting close to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Vancouver Canucks have clinched the playoffs. So I'm rooting for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Oh, yeah, they're your team, and congratulations.
Yeah, I did all the work, Steve.
Yeah, you did it.
Even though I watched all Kraken hockey this year, but hey,
I'm assuming that Kraken have yet to cinch the playoff.
no. In the past couple of years, Steve, they haven't made the playoffs yet.
Okay, well, someday.
And it's also baseball season, Steve. So I'm knee deep in sports.
Wow.
If I was into basketball right now, I'd be all about the basketball, but I'm not. But you know what I am into, Steve?
What's that?
Red Hat Mamas.
Oh, right. Well, we're in luck because we're going to start with a couch gag in which the family sits in a nest which has replaced the couch, and a large mother bird flies down and feeds Homer a worm from its mouth to Homer's mouth, and Homer happily eats up that worm.
Yum.
Yeah. Yum.
All right.
Worm.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's begin the episode, as it always does, at the mayor's Easter egg hunt. Beware of the rat poison. Here's a little thing I've been reading about on those local apps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't use rat poison because a lot of dogs I've been reading are dying. They don't know why. When they find out, it's because they consumed something that had rat poison in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't put rat poison around your house, people.
No, not to mention...
Let the rats just, maybe you could be friends with them and become a rat king. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it can hop into your hat and, you can become a great chef.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's just Patton Oswalt just jumped on my head and started making me cook for him.
Now I have strong opinions about movies. I mean, they're good, but still, it just doesn't really stop. Aside from just dogs, there's also kitties and squirrels and other critters that will suffer from the rat poison. So yeah, be mindful of how you use your poisons because poison doesn't discriminate.
Now, if you want to use rat, R-A-T-T poison against the band Rat, by all means.
Yeah, go right ahead.
We should start a super group of rat and poison. So maybe rat poison.
Oh, wow.
Song and poison songs. What do you think?
That's a good idea because in 1986, that's a great concert bill. Rat poison.
Your brother would be your biggest supporter, I think, if you started a rat poison government.
No doubt about it. I mean,
we could make the you remember how inexplicably the 80s trends for dudes was wearing crop top shirts?
Mm-hmm.
But just imagine those 80s metal fans now wearing those crop top shirts. Be much like a Homer wearing a crop top shirt.
Yeah. We can't all look like Gambit.
Oh yeah, X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Even I was a little turned on by that.
I know. I want to rock.
Yeah, we used to simp over Rogue. Now we're sipping over Gambit. Are we doing the X-Men 97 podcast rewatch?
I think that's on the Patreon.
We probably actually get some listeners then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, we should probably go to a clip about the Simpsons. Okay, so Quimby welcomes the people of Springfield and introduces his rarely seen wife.
Thank you, Joe. In just a few moments, the hunt will be opened by our own wascally referee, Hugs Bunny.
Whoa. Sorry, kid. Legally, I'm not allowed to hug you.
Now, begin the hunt.
Joe! You said your wife was dead!
And you said you graduated from typing school.
I have trouble with the space bar.
The space bar. That's what I call the cantina in Star Wars.
Heyo.
Dumb.
It's really good, though. How do you have trouble with the space bar? It's the biggest one.
That's what she said.
I had some flashbacks seeing Hugs Bunny for the first time, but I feel like I've been with Hugs Bunny for many years.
Really?
Don't you remember him from Tapped Out?
Oh, yes, that's right. That's very true.
Like, I feel that when Tapped Out first came out, they did an Easter thing and it had Hugs Bunny. Like, remember you had to go to your friend's Springfield and, like, collect Easter eggs? Wasn't that part of it?
I think so, yeah, and I think they might even had, like, a Marge with the red hat mamas, or the Cheery Red Tomatoes outfit, I think, or something. Like, I do remember this whole campaign.
And I'm bringing this up for a reason. Is it on the wagon or off the wagon, Steve? I always forget which term is to be used. We joked about this a few episodes ago. I'm like, I'm going to download Tapped Out again and see it. And I did. And download on my phone. I was able to log into my old account. It's proof. I sent Steve a screenshot.
He did.
And I might maybe once or twice a day go on Tapped Out and see what's going on.
Oh, no.
There's just so much stuff that I've missed out on. And there's like this new thing now. I don't know how new it is, though. But you know how I remember like tapping all the houses and collecting all like the money was that annoying. I was like, okay, I'm done with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they have like, if you spend so much money, you can level up on like, it's like a tax collecting building that you buy, and it's able to like collect when you tap like a house, but like whatever surrounding houses or businesses will also collect the money, so you don't have to tap on everything.
Very cool.
Things go a lot smoother, but yeah, I might be not addicted. I'm not addicted. It's I'm only having a sip of wine, not a full bottle.
Yeah, you can quit anytime you'd like.
Yeah. So if you ask me a question when I'm in this podcast and I'm not answering, it's probably because I'm playing Tapped Out.
Makes sense. Doing the Simpsons-related thing, at least, with your time.
A lot of times in my morning constitutionals, that's when I'm checking things out.
It's honestly more healthy than, like, social media, so I don't know that it's so bad.
Which, I've kind of gotten off of social media, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, you gotta fill your time sometimes. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Play Tapped Out, do a word game, or play Tetris. Do something more stimulating for your mind than just doom scrolling.
Right. I don't need to see Instagram posts and whatever that is. Speaking of Instagram, follow us at 13Simpsons on Instagram.
That's right.
Social media.
So we got Hugs Bunny, as you mentioned, and he opens the gate, and children of all ages, and Homer, rush in to partake in the Easter egg hunt. Nelson finds a nest in a tree and takes 4 tiny bird, or, given the history of him and birds, lizard eggs. And Lisa points out that they don't count as Easter eggs, but Nelson responds that they count as breakfast before popping one in his mouth. Just then, several birds fly around Nelson's head, attacking him. He tries to shoo them away, saying that it was worth it.
You ever just gone into like a robin's nest and ate some eggs?
I don't think I have, no.
You had to think about that?
You said robin specifically, so I just, blue jay, sure. But not a robin, I mean.
What about a nightwing egg?
I mean, I'd do a nightwing egg. It's cooler. A bit more mature.
How about a bat girl egg?
Maybe a bat girl and maybe a red face. Isn't there another person with a...
Red Hood.
Red Hood, there it is, yeah.
Harley Quinn egg?
Ooh, that one tastes silly.
You're going to say crazy, and that's not the right term to use, Steve.
Right.
You stop yourself, but I'm pointing out that you were about to say
exactly
crazy.
I'll say that it tastes bad, but it's trying to taste good, which is something.
I remember as a kid, like seeing like broken robin shell eggs on the ground, kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I doubt that the baby was born. It was a critter that ate the egg.
That's probably more likely.
Yeah. Well, Steve, in what is now a famous meme, Ralph finds an Easter egg and puts it in his basket, only to have it fall through the hole in the basket. You see this animated GIF all around this time of the year, the Easter time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a Easter basket egg finding kid?
Yeah, we were a family that hid Easter baskets. We didn't really hide eggs, I don't think.
Oh.
I think my parents just hid my Easter egg in the house for us to find because it was probably easier. And then we'd have an Easter basket full of candy and stuff.
I remember like the last Easter basket I got, I was probably middle school, maybe 5th or 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that like my mom forgot it was Easter because I remember like waking up one morning and like it was literally a brown grocery bag with like some toys and some candy in it. And it was like Happy Easter. Like there was no like basket with the green grass or anything. It was like, she was like, he's probably too old now. I better just get one just to be safe.
Yeah.
Like I think she like went to the store that morning. I remember her coming back and acting surprised. So I think there's like, what's the age cutoff for doing the Easter thing with kids?
I don't know, but I would say like 9 or 10. Like I think that once, how can I say this? Santa is less frequent. The bunny rabbit also becomes less so.
What about the Arbor Day baskets? Do you still give those out to kids?
Of course I do. I give them a basket full of trees every year.
I mean, usually like, hey kids, you want to see my wood?
Boing.
Jeez. We should have more basket themed holidays. Like, as a kid, right? Like you look forward to Christmas, obviously.
Yeah.
If you celebrate the holiday, but like you have like, as you know, we had our birthday and then we had Christmas and then Easter was like, you got like a Hot Wheel, like in my experience, like it's candy, but like little toys like Hot Wheels and things like that. I'm not getting a USS Flag, G.I. Joe battleship, right?
No. I remember I'd get like one G.I. Joe action figure, or for a little while, the G.I. Joe line had a series of like action packs, which were just like accessories for your G.I. Joes, like maybe a small like fort for like one character, or maybe like a wind up like rocket or something, but like very small things, like probably less expensive than an actual G.I. Joe action figure, which at the time was probably $2.99 or $3.99 or something. So yeah, just like little things. Maybe a yo-yo, because I was into yo-yos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like flash back a memory of mine of they used to have those like little packets of accessories, like for like He-Man, and be like, because you'd lose like swords.
Yeah.
And like you get like capes and swords. I think they had like Star Wars ones. Yeah. What if they don't make those for toys now, do they?
I feel like the market for action figures in general is so different. Like it's so much more like a collectible thing that even though it's marketed towards kids, it's like really just for adults to spend $20 on like an Iron Man action figure with like a removable face and like different hands for different motions. You know, it's like so much more for like posability and putting on your shelf rather than actual play.
Right. Because kids only want to TikTok and eat ass, right?
That's right. And I'm all out of TikToks.
Well, getting back to like the holidays, like what? Okay, you have Halloween, you get candy, but you know, maybe we should get like a toy on Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Like Jack Skellington should come around and place a basket of toys.
That could be fun, though. I mean, I think it's more healthy, you know, if they got some small toys rather than a bunch of candy. Like, you could do some candy, but, you know.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day could be a toy holiday.
Well, it is for some adults, Steve.
That is true.
To get some toys for the adult, and you go to adamandeve.com/138simpsons for 20 cents off your lube.
And you get a free VHS of pornography.
Yeah. They'll send you a VCR and 45,000 VHS pornos for free.
Yeah. All made before 1996.
We're still doing Simpsons, right?
Oh, yeah.
Easter celebrations. Okay, well, look, we're trying to do the Easter celebration, even though when this airs, Easter's far behind, and does this episode air on someday in April?
Yeah.
You'll be looking forward to the April holiday. Is there an April holiday?
Tax season.
Yeah, no one celebrates that. 420. Smoking weed, man.
Earth Day. And yeah.
Earth Day. And that's it. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Ralph and the famous meme over and over again rediscovering the egg. And then Bart is over there and he tells Ralph that he has a hole in his basket, and Ralph just says, "You're Lisa's brother." So there's a Ralphism there for you all to laugh at.
Ha ha ha. So Maggie is also on the egg hunt, basket in hand, but finds that the other kids are too fast. snatching the eggs before she can grab them. She begins to cry, and Homer sees this, declaring that nobody pushes around his little bundle of joy. He goes to pick her up, but accidentally grabs Gerald, the unibrow baby, and so after grabbing the correct child, swipes eggs from various other children with witty quips like, "Too slow, Drooly Joe," and "Peekaboo, I steal from you."
Well, Maggie giggles at her father's mischief, but referee Hugs Bunny isn't so amused. He blows his whistle and asks that Homer set Maggie down. So the man in the bunny costume assures Homer that, he just wants to talk, but as soon as Maggie hits that grass, Hugs Bunny tackles Homer. So they're like rolling on the ground, and when Hugs is on top of Homer, Homer's like, "Silly rabbit, kicks are for the ribs." So before kicking Hugs in the gut, they exchange punches and headbutts until Homer's kicked off him and into the grass. So he reaches out and grabs a chocolate bunny and breaks the top off like it's a glass bottle. And then he's like threatening to stab the bunny. But meanwhile, Marge and some other women are enjoying a tour of the Quimby Manor.
This house has such beautiful wainscoting.
Well, Marge, I didn't know you were into wainscoting.
I read an article about it at the tire store. Did you know it's not named after someone named Wayne Scott?
Oh, that's very interesting. You are now in the mayor's office.
I also didn't know that there wasn't a man named Wayne Scott.
Wainscoting is a wood paneling applied to the lower portion of a wall inside a home, especially in the dining room, Steve, or living room, or entryway.
Yeah, I thought it was when David Wayne and Scott Aukerman do a podcast together.
I thought it was when Wayne Brady and Scott Baio do a comedy tour together.
They'd be friends.
I don't know if they would be friends, Steve.
That pansexual black improviser and Chachi. Yeah, that'd be good. Good pals.
Wayne Brady and Scott Stapp. They could do a musical tour together.
Yeah, I mean, Scott would welcome them with arms wide open, I'm sure.
Let's bring Creed and the band Creed and Whose Line Is It Anyway tour together. It seems like a good match.
Mm-hmm. Colin Mockery's Canadian and Creed's not, but they seem like they could be.
I thought Creed was Canadian for some reason.
Exactly, right? I think they're from Florida, but you think they're Canadian.
Wait. Creed's from Florida? Is this why people hate Florida? Because Creed's from Florida?
Yeah, exactly.
What about Creed from The Office? Creed Bratton.
Also from Florida. Okay, so Martha Quimby continues her tour by showing the women a switch that the mayor uses to call his chief of staff. She then flips the switch, and a wall turns that flips the couch to reveal a circular bed with heart pillows. And then a disco ball descends from the ceiling, and a bar pops up from the mayor's desk. Hang portraits lift up to show women dancing. Very 60s, very like Austin Powersy. The mayor's wife lets out a sigh of defeat and concludes the tour.
Remember when, all politicians were just sex-craved lunatics? And that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah. And now they're just elderly, weird people.
It's like we're holding on to the past, man.
Yeah.
Well, the women are disappointed but delighted once again as Martha invites them for some tea in the parlor. Marge is pleased not only to have tea, but in a parlor. Steve, have you had tea in a parlor?
No, I've had soda in a study, but in coffee in the den.
Crap.
No tea in the parlor.
Like you say, coffee in the crapper.
Oh, yeah. Coffee in the crapper. 2 bits.
I've had beer in the shower. That's a good place.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Had liquor in the front while playing poker in the back.
And the milk was in the front.
Right. Around the corner. I found some fudge. Yeah.
Do we do that joke in every podcast now?
I think it's the law, yeah.
All right. Well, her joy is short-lived, however, as Homer is thrown through the window. He shouts in to his foe's face there, "You're like all Easter bunnies. Can't take a punch to the crotch." So as he holds the bunny's ear, he tells him to think twice the next time he offers to volunteer to help children.
So then Homer sees Marge and casually says, "Hi, Marge." He nervously introduces him to the other women, who are stunned. Homer asks if he has a small rip in his pants, and then turns around to show a huge tear in the seat of his pants, exposing his underwear and his little butt. Marge begs her husband to behave as they're about to have tea. But then we see Mrs. Quimby trying to sidle away, which is some great animation of her just moving to the right, before saying that there will be no tea.
Much like when we go to the doctor's office and they
Exactly.
take a test to us. Sorry, Hanoi Grandboys, there's no tea in you.
Womp womp. We're barely men. We're barely human.
So she calls security and hits a big red button on the wall, but that just causes 2 dancing women in cages to lower. So Martha begs people to leave, and Cookie Kwan blames Marge for blowing their tea. So she tells her that she'll no longer get refrigerator magnet calendars from her, but then Homer says that they just throw them out anyway, which Cookie is sure is a lie. I like a refrigerator calendar.
Convenient.
Yeah, but you can't write anything on them because they're so small. It's just like, I guess today's the 3rd. I can't see.
Yeah, we have a full-size wall calendar next to our fridge, which is convenient for knowing who buys what, kitchen supplies or whatever.
Yeah, we have a calendar in the kitchen too. Steve, you'll never guess what animal calendar we have.
My first guess would be rattlesnakes or maybe scorpions, but I'm going to take a stab and say, I don't know, squirrels?
Well, you'd be correct.
Fancy that.
I just changed it today, and guess what? It was a squirrel.
Nice.
I'm trying to think what your calendar would be, but it has to be like a collective household. You just have to sit around and debate well, we want the Daniel Day-Lewis calendar, or does he have his own calendar?
Yeah.
Your wife's probably we want Beyonce calendar, but everyone has to agree with Beyonce. I bet it is a Beyonce calendar. Is it Beyonce?
That would make the most sense, but no, it is just a stylish kind of simple cottagecore designy one without any usually has flowers or something. It's not labeled, but it's pretty, and
Was it free from State Farm or something?
It might have been, very possibly, yeah.
It's where you write on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kitchen one too. You're not allowed to write on my Taylor Swift calendars.
Of course not, yeah.
So that night, we're going to go to a clip, Steve. So that night in the bedroom, Homer's feeling a little randy there. But Marge is too angry for some good old classic fucking.
Hey, good looking. Wanna snuggle with Tyrannosaurus Sex?
No, I don't. I'm still upset about what happened today. I don't have many friends, and when I finally start to make some, you ruin it.
Oh, come on, honey. You have lots of friends. There's, Lisa and the stove.
And let's not forget Marge's very best friend, the vacuum.
How could Homer not remember the vacuum? He sure is a sucky husband.
Oof, you were like a shark with that joke. I was worried about Bart being killed because he would die, son.
Wow.
Wow.
It'd be really depressing as one of the teachers from Springfield Elementary, Miss Hoover.
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, those jokes also sucked. Anywho, Marge storms off to sleep on the couch, leaving Homer to think. Feeling bad for his wife, he vows to find her a friend. Someone cute, athletic, with a nice laugh. He then imagines a dolphin in a pool, happily chittering away. In his fantasy, Homer is standing above the pool, holding a flaming hoop for the dolphin to jump through. Marge walks into the scene and is shocked to find her husband and her best friend together. She then pulls out a harpoon gun and shoots the dolphin in the chest, and then does the same to Homer, who falls into the pool. I love that. Homer says, it's a risk that I'll have to take. Just so silly.
It's just the idea of okay, Homer's friend for Marge has to be cute, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic and a nice laugh, which honestly, dolphins don't have nice laughs.
No.
But he should be worried about dolphins because you see this a lot in the news, dolphins will fuck a human. So I'd be a little afraid if I was friends with a dolphin because I know they're eventually going to try to mate with me.
Right. Yeah, that's no good. Dolphins are scary.
Steve, dolphins kill more humans than immigrants that come into the city. Did you know that?
Well, Craig, I think that immigrants are people too, and that dolphins shouldn't kill people or immigrants.
Dolphins kill more Americans every year than guns, okay?
You can't kill guns. The dumb joke. I'm stupid today.
That was funny, though. That was actually funny. I'm making all this up. I'm trying to stir some right-wing rhetoric on this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm the new Ralph Nader. Not Ralph Nader. What's his name?
Ralph Kramp.
The guy that's dead. The guy that's dead. Rush Limbaugh. That's who.
Oh, yeah. Hey, ditto heads.
Did your dad ever listen to Rush Limbaugh?
Oh, yeah.
Did he ever break radios?
Yeah, he threw... I'm pretty sure I remember him punching a car radio once.
Like driving?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And I'm sure he threw one that was plugged into a wall, too.
I mean, I wish your dad was alive for the only reason of, I wish he was alive during the Trump presidency. I know you probably wish he was alive for other reasons, but...
Yeah, I just worry that would have, probably killed him again.
What if, he was visited by, a ghost, and they said, all right, you can live for another 20 years, but also in that 20 years, this is what's going to happen to the country, and this is who will be president. He's like, no, I'm good. I can check out now.
Yeah, I think that's probably what do you do,
You could have massive heart attacks if you stay alive. All right, well, hey, Steve, I want to go to another clip. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, so the following day at Springfield Elementary, Lisa is checking the bulletin board, and Sherry O'Terry wonders what Lisa is seeking, but only really wants to discuss twin-related issues. Do you think their favorite movies, that one with Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Junior?
That's what I was looking for, Steve. Okay, so later Lisa checks with the Principal Skinner for her qualifications for a summer activity.
What you looking for, Lisa? Summer opportunities. We're going to twin camp. Oh my God! Spend a summer in Rome. Rome? Founded by twins, by the way. Hey, where'd she go? Oh well, let's talk in our secret twin language.
Okay, Lisa. To study in Rome, an applicant needs outstanding grades. Check. Uh-oh, Lisa, it says you have to speak fluent Italian.
Check.
You speak Italian?
Of course I do. Why would I say it if I didn't?
Flawless logic, but I am going to have to ask you to speak a few phrases to verify your fluency.
Oh.
Though not now, because I have a series of important meetings. But how's tomorrow for you? Because it's terrible for me. But I'll get back to you soon.
Skinner's pretty good in this one.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's a classic Simpsons, joke of, anticipation and just keep it going, but it's just so good. I also love in the beginning when Sherry O'Terry are talking and, Lisa just doesn't care. They're like, oh, we're going to twin camp. She doesn't say anything. She couldn't be bothered. And then when they're like, Rome was built by twins, and she's like, okay, whatever.
That would be Romulus and Remus.
Isn't Romulus a Star Trek person?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Romulus. Just take me to your Star Trek.
Hey, Mr. Picard.
Yeah, Roman mythology held that the sea was founded by Romulus, son of war of god Mars, and the Vestal Virgin Rhea Silvia, fallen princess of Alba Longa, and descendant of Aeneas of Troy, exposed on the Tiber River. Romulus and his twin Remus were suckled by a she-wolf at Lupercal before being raised by the shepherd Faustulus, take revenge on their usurping great-uncle Emilius and restoring Alba Longa to their grandfather Numitor. The brothers then decided to establish a new town, but quarreled over some details, ending with Remus's murder and establishing of Rome on Palatine Hill. I don't really think it was that. That's how it happened, Steve.
No.
I think they're like, let's just make some shit up. All right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Romulus and Remus. Yeah, I was right, Steve. And yes, I do that because of Star Trek. Romulus is the home planet of the Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
And Remus is their moon that has the Remans on it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's weird how that... that's what Spock says, yeah. I was hoping when they said, let's speak in our secret twin language, they should have got Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger to do the lines for them. Sherry O'Terry.
That'd be really funny. Again,
are we ever going to...
We need to have Danny DeVito back on.
Yeah. And I was going to say, are we ever going to get that twin sequel triplets? I think it's because Ivan Reitman died and it was shelved indefinitely, right?
Probably, yeah. But they should do it. Because who was in talks? Was it Kevin Hart?
No, Tracy Morgan.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, that would be so good. That'd be so much fun.
But alas, we will never have that.
Sad. So as Homer and Bart shop at the grocery store, Homer says that he needs to find a new friend for Marge. So Bart will have to finish the shopping on his own. So he hands Bart a sheet of papers that Bart assumes are food stamps, but actually they're fake food stamps that Homer made at work, which say real food stamps and show a drawing of Homer eating a large sub sandwich.
Think we should try that?
Mm-hmm.
Go to the grocery like with the picture of Homer eating a sandwich. Like, I'd like one of these, please.
One sandwich, please.
Yeah, Homer witnessing a woman pushing a shopping cart, and he thinks that she could be a good friend for Marge, especially since she also looks defeated. So he walks behind the unsuspecting woman saying, like, psst, psst, and the woman speeds her pace, and Homer follows in kind until they are both running. So the woman slams into a tower display of canned food, knocking it over before falling to the crowd unconscious. This leaves wondering why every woman he talks to runs into cans.
Poor woman.
Yeah, don't do that, people.
Yeah, don't chase people.
No, not cool.
No. Homer. So, sitting on a park bench. Lisa practices her Italian language using a tape player. The voice on the cassette says the phrase, "I want to rent a small boat," in Italian. Then, again in English. Lisa repeats the sentence, then continues to follow along, saying the phrase back, "I plan to dump this body in the ocean." Confused, Lisa checks the tape to learn that it's actually Italian for Italian Americans, with the label showing several bullet holes. The tape goes on to translate, "This is what you get for asking questions," followed by the sound of gunshots.
You see, because Italians are all in the mob.
Italian Americans, yes.
Oh. Well, Lisa tosses the tape into the trash and then checks out the park's community bulletin board. She's really liking bulletin boards, right, in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2005, right? Ever heard of the internet?
It's Craigslist.
Was it, yeah, my list was around in 2005. So she sees a post that reads, "For sale, Martin Prince's bike. Call Nelson." Wait a minute. Like I understand the joke is that because Nelson's a bully and stole Martin's bike. But on this podcast, we believe that Martin and Nelson are secret lovers, and that, Martin came over one day to Nelson's, and maybe like a heated argument happened, and Nelson stormed out, or Martin storms out. He forgets his bike, and then, Nelson can't bear to have the sight of that bike giving him memories of his lover.
That's right.
So he's just trying to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
Do you still have your ex-girlfriend's bikes?
Oh, yeah. Holding them for ransom until they give me back my heart.
And the last girlfriend that had a bike was when you were in grade school. You'll still have it.
Yeah. Oh, Deirdre, you broke me.
Another post says 2001 BMW great condition, not for sale.
Bragging.
I kind of wanted to put that in the want ads. Like, I have this. It's not for sale. I just want to let you know. And then she finds something relevant to her concerns. A sign that says, "Speak Italian. Send your tongue on a gondola ride." So she rips off one of those phone number tabs and then says to herself, "Arrivederci, ignorance."
So back at 742 Evergreen Terrace, Marge is washing dishes when Homer has exciting news. He found a woman to be her friend. He dances around, eager to introduce the woman who is waiting in the living room. So Marge steps into the living room to find Eleanor Abernathy, a.k.a. Crazy Cat Lady, on the couch muttering to herself, surrounded by several felines. After she has a cat thrown at her, Marge steps out to get some fresh air. After she leaves, Homer bets Crazy Cat Lady that she can't throw a cat over the house. So Eleanor flings a cat, throwing it high into the air, over the house and beyond. She really threw that cat. And Homer admits that he was wrong.
Crazy Cat Lady likes cats, but yet is also cruel to them.
Yeah, it's confusing because she cares clearly about cats because that's her whole deal. But sometimes she'll fling them at people as a weapon. I guess that's why she's not a sane cat lady.
Oh, right. Who is sane cat lady, Steve? Selena Kyle? No, not really.
No, she's not very sane. She has questionable issues with the law.
And her choice in men is very baddie.
That's true.
Why can we both... I think there's a gas leak in the recording studio today. Well, Steve, as gray clouds cover Springfield, Marge walks the streets alone and depressed, and so she tells herself that maybe she wasn't meant to have friends. But then, suddenly, the wind blows a hat at her little feet.
Stop that hat! Woo, how about this wind, huh? I don't know how you keep your hair so perfect.
Johnson's water seal.
My name's Tammy, and these are my friends, the Cheery Red Tomatoes.
The nationwide social organization for women of a certain age?
Yeah, but we don't sit around watching television and eating bonbons, except on TV Bonbon Night, which is every Tuesday and Thursday.
And what are you doing today?
We're going to have margaritas and poke gentle fun at our husbands. Would you like to join us?
Would I? Now let's see. Homer cut up my wedding dress to make a badminton net, which he never uses. He spent my last 3 birthdays in jail, called out his bowling ball's name during sex.
Whoa, honey. Save it for Johnny Fiestas.
I want to go to Johnny Fiestas.
Yeah, get some Margs and some, like, nice little enchilada plate or something. Sounds good.
Margaritas.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him cutting up her wedding dress for a badminton court. Now, if that joke was pitched, it would have to be a pickleball court net.
That's true.
Is there going to be an episode Homer and Marge playing pickleball?
I gotta assume, like, I'm surprised they haven't done it already.
They probably have. We just glossed over it.
Yeah, because pickleball is sweeping the nation.
We're at the age we should be playing pickleball, but we're not.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I can just envision your wife, my wife, we're all at the pickleball court. You and I are wearing our fun little polos.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe got some sweatbands on, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe a wristband or two.
Yeah. And then we go to a craft brewery place afterwards, sit outside, have a couple pints of IPA, because that's what we're supposed to drink. And
Of course, yeah.
Go home, get home at 5:30 p.m., and then go right to sleep because we're exhausted from the day.
That was kind of nice.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you in a couple hours then.
Sounds good.
Hey, Steve, Tammy sounds familiar. Who is that?
Why, that's comedian, actor, writer, singer, and producer Lily Tomlin playing Tammy. She had her breakout role, of course, in the NBC sketch comedy show Laugh-In. Since then, she's won a Tony for a Broadway show in The Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe, a Grammy for her 1972 comedy album This Is a Recording, and she's made many TV and film appearances such as 9 to 5, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, All of Me with Steve Martin, cameos on shows like Murphy Brown, X-Files, Homicide, Life on the Streets, and for our younger audiences, she voiced Miss Frizzle in the animated adaptation of the popular kids' book series The Magic School Bus on PBS, and most recently she's been on the Netflix show with Jane Fonda, Grace, Frank, and Gracie.
Yeah. I always liked Lily Tomlin as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, she'd be on, like, the talk shows, and my parents would watch it, and, like, she's a funny lady. And we watched All of Me. You know, that was always on. That episode of The X-Files is pretty good that she's on. It's a Christmas episode, Steve.
Oh.
So I've watched it during the Christmas season before, and I believe Ed Asner's also on the episode as well.
Very cool. I love Ed Asner. Love Ed Asner. Ugh, it's hard to say.
It's a fun episode. You don't need to be, you know, it's one of those standalone episodes. You need to be in the X-Files mythology to watch it. Was she the original Miss Frizzle, or was that someone else?
She was the original. I think they tried to reboot it. It got some controversy because they made Miss Frizzle a bit more
streamlined.
Streamlined, we'll say, yes.
Like, she looked like Miss Frizzle had, like, character in her, like, her features.
Exactly, yeah. She looked like a real woman, and
they tried to make the new one, like, hot, right?
Right, exactly, which is weird because she's a teacher of, like, 4th graders or whatever, and, like, yeah. And so, yeah. But I think that they redid it, called The Return of the Magic School Bus, or Miss Frizzle Returns, or something like that, where it is Lily Tomlin playing her role again. I
think it should be, like, a live-action one. It's got to be Natasha Lyonne, right? If you do a live-action.
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
Miss Frizzle, but also, like, you know, talks like this, but also still smoking in front of kids.
Today we're going to go inside of a butthole.
Like, if Funny or Die or College Humor was still, I'm sure they're still around, but if they did videos, like, I could see them making, like, a live-action school bus parody, Magic School Bus with Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So the Cheery Red Tomatoes, they're a parody of the Red Hat Society. Steve, it's an organization that started in 1998. It's for, like, a social group for women over 50 The group now allows women of all ages. It's inclusive, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's over 35,000 members internationally. And so they're recognized by wearing red hats and purple clothing, which, red and purple, are those colors like clash?
That's the whole idea, is that they want to be loud and noticed.
Oh, okay. Well, the group is intended for women to grow older in a playful manner to celebrate self-acceptance. It's a positive community, Steve.
That's right.
Now, is it just women, or can men be part of this group? Are they that inclusive, or other genders?
I think probably at this point they might be, because, it's time to, I don't know. I think that, gender-exclusive clubs are, kind of weird in this day and age. So I think that they should allow people in, but I truly don't know.
Well, we only have, 7 more years till we can join the group?
Yeah. Oh, God. Math is dumb. But you're right.
You say meth is dumb or math?
Math is dumb. Meth is fun. Makes me forget about passing the time.
I know, Steve. We only have 13 years until we could live into a retirement community.
Actually, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Playing pickleball every day. But back at home, Homer, Bart, and Lisa are watching TV, which is showing the Has-Been Celebrity Poker. So inside the Vic Tayback Motel and Casino, Krusty is stunned to learn that the celebrities are playing for charity, so he pieces out. Back at 742 Evergreen Terrace, Marge steps into the living room wearing a red dress, which really impresses Bart. Marge informs the family that she is now a junior member of the Cheery Red Tomatoes. Homer laughs at the idea of Marge in a gang, wondering what she'll do, shoot him with a frosting gun? And then he says that he'd seriously love to be shot in the face with a frosting gun. And who wouldn't? That sounds nice.
Yeah, I think any gun could be turned into a frosting gun.
Mm-hmm.
You just put some frosting on a bullet and shoot.
Yeah, pistol whip.
You know the joke before of Krusty, learning that the celebrity things is for charity and bouncing out? Sometimes you'll watch a thing with celebrities and it's always for charity, but a lot of times when I see the celebrities, I'm like, I kind of want them to keep the money because I haven't seen them since 1996.
Yeah, I feel like, Gabe Kaplan probably plays so much poker that he just wins money when he's not in these celebrity events. But yeah, for the other ones, you're like, you could probably use that. I'm
wondering now that having this discussion that if it's a game show and it's, it's this is for charity, I wonder if it's still whatever they make on, let's say Celebrity Jeopardy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they still probably get an appearance fee to be on Jeopardy. So they probably get a minimum amount of money to be on the show. They're not doing it for free. So they'll get a set rate no matter what. So they're literally playing with the house money.
That makes sense, yeah.
It's just probably a tax purpose, hey, we're giving all this money to charities. Yeah. So they still probably do get money to be on Jeopardy or other game shows.
Probably, yeah.
All right, I figured it out.
You're smart.
So, Steve, we just need to become celebrities, and then we could go on Jeopardy and then still get paid.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan of action. Get famous, become super well-known, and then go on Jeopardy.
I'm writing this down, by the way.
Okay, good.
Got it.
Yeah.
They should have podcast Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh.
It'd be this is just regular Jeopardy. No one knows these people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Steve, Marge, and the other ladies of the Cheery Red Tomatoes exit the building, laughing hysterically. So Marge comments that her new friends make everything fun. So the camera zooms out to show that they were just leaving the Museum of Suffering. Aw. I kind of would go to that one. Hey, over at the Simpsons household, the doorbell rings and Lisa is in for a surprise.
That's my Italian tutor! Oh, hey, Milhouse. I think Bart's upstairs.
I'm not here for Bart. I'm here to teach you Italian.
Oh, sure, I get it. Bart told you I was taking lessons, so you thought you'd come over and...
Prego si fermi ad ascoltare. That means, please stop and listen. I'm the tutor the company sent over. I'm here to teach you la lingua di arte e la musica.
You really speak Italian?
Si. My grandmother, Nana Sophie, lives in Tuscany. Since I was a baby, I've spent 2 weeks there every summer. Nana hated English because in World War II, a GI left her with child. My uncle Bastardo. Nana only spoke Italian to me.
Questi il mio cherubino. sono delle oliva.
I love you, Nana. Oh!
Idiota!
Every time I spoke English, you hit me.
Steve, did I tell you about my Italian tutor?
No.
It's just what I call my ass after I eat too much pasta and drink too much red wine.
I'm alone.
This episode you can have your grandma listen to because it's so full of cute, innocent jokes.
Yeah. And hopefully your grandma's Italian, so she doesn't understand English.
It also hits you.
Yeah. Speaking of Italians, this is the first time that we've really learned that Milhouse has Italian ancestry, so that's something.
His great-grandfather was Mussolini.
Mm-hmm. It is his middle name. Because Milhouse continues to tell memories of his grandmother hitting him when he said that the previous hit hurt. He then apologized for being so stupid. So she uses his full name, Milhouse Mussolini Van Houten, before telling him in Italian to speak Italian, idiot. So Grandma Van Houten, not Grandma Milhouse, Grandma Van Houten then grabs an olive branch, usually a sign of peace, and chases Milhouse across the Tuscan countryside, threatening to beat him. Then back in the present day, he tells Lisa that's how he learned Italian, and that's also when he started wetting the bed. Milhouse then asks if he can be Lisa's insegnante, and Lisa agrees if that means teacher. So Milhouse explains that it means masculine teacher, and then raises his eyebrows suggestively.
This is like peak 80s, 90s family sitcom trope right here. Like, I'm watching this and thinking, like, didn't they do this on Family Ties? Like, was there an episode where Mallory needed help in some sort of, like, subject at school? So who comes over to be the tutor? It's Skippy, the neighbor who has a crush on Mallory. And this probably happened all the time on Family Matters where, Urkel had to tutor Laura.
Right.
What other TV shows where the nerdy boy likes the hot girl? Married with Children, Bud Bundy was always trying to get into Kelly's pants, so he could tutor her.
Of course. And of course, the Brady Bunch when Mike Brady tried to seduce Peter Brady.
Yes, with Marcia, but no.
Yeah, I took a left turn.
I was going to say, it was when Peter Brady was trying to seduce Marcia.
Oh, that's also true. Because that actually happened in real life.
Wait, was Peter the youngest or
no?
The youngest. Oh, that's Bobby. That was Bobby.
Yeah. The oldest one, though, did try to date Florence Henderson.
Right. Greg, did he try to or didn't
No,
they
I think they actually did go out on a date. And, I don't know if they hooked up, but if they did, they'd have plenty of lube because she's got that Wesson oil deal.
It was Bobby who hooked up with Alice, right?
Yeah.
And it was Peter who hooked up with the dad.
Yeah, and Cindy hooked up with Tiger, which is weird. Naming a dog Tiger, it's dumb.
It's just dumb. Stupid fucking Brady's.
What are you doing?
Pieces of shit. Okay, so, but what I'm trying to say is, like, this is, like, what a sitcom trope this is.
Yeah, it is very tropey.
And even Homer's, like, I gotta find a friend for my wife, which is, like, what man in existence, married man, has ever been like, I better find a friend for my wife?
I feel like the opposite would be so much more true. Like, oh man, my husband has 0 friends. He hangs out with me and nobody else. I need to find him a friend.
There was an SNL bit they did a few years ago with that kind of premise. It was husbands. It was like treated like it was like a dog park.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And so it was the wives would take their husbands to like a dog park, but for men trying to find each other friends. Yeah, it's true. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's Steve and I right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dudes, we don't need friends at a certain age, right?
Like, it's true. Like, I have coworkers who have like tried to be my friend, and like I'll hang out with them once to be polite, but usually I'm just like, well, I spend most of my nights with my wife, and then I record my podcast with Craig. And then I'm usually good socially. Like, that's all I need. Like,
I'm good.
Yeah, I got it. It's like Ron Swanson in his Halloween costume. Like, he's a pirate, and that's his Halloween costume. Like, I have a friend and a wife. I don't need any more.
Wasn't there actually, like, his best friend was a guy that, I forget what it was, but he saw him once a year, but he was only, like, dropping off something, and they never, like, exchanged words, but to him, Ron that's his best friend.
Exactly, yeah. It's like,
I forget what it was. Yeah.
I never see him. It's wonderful.
Yeah, when was the last time we actually saw each other? I think it was maybe a year ago.
Yeah, probably. Probably
show.
when we saw the show and I got COVID, so.
Yeah, all right. Well, Steve, after the meetup with the other Cheery Red Tomatoes, Marge is dropped off at home. So she tells her friends that they can text message her anytime, and they happily tell her that they already have.
Aw.
And this is 2005, too. Like, texting wasn't as big as it was now.
Yeah, it's novel still.
Yeah. So Marge opens her flip phone, that's how we know how old this is, to find messages that read, "You rock." And Marge opens the door to find Homer, curled up and asleep in pajamas, at the foot of the stairs next to a drawing of himself and Marge with the words, "Hope you had fun," written on it. Marge thinks it's adorable and that he tried to stay up but couldn't make it. And Marge gives him a sweet kiss goodnight. It's much like a child waiting up for the parent, right?
Can I offer a punch-up that I think would have been kind of cute? Is if instead of just kissing him goodnight, Marge picked up Homer and walked him up the stairs and tucked him into bed. Just because it'd be so funny because, he's so heavy because he's Homer. But it'd be sweet if she just picked him up. Because, like when you're get a ride home when you're a kid, and you fall asleep in the car and your parents pick you up and just send you to bed.
Right.
I thought that'd be cute.
Yeah, and she picks him up with no ease.
Mm-hmm.
With little ease, gives us nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Also like that Homer is very artistic in this episode. He drew the food stamps and he's drawing a little sweet photo for a little picture for Marge. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So the next day, Milhouse arrives to give Lisa her Italian lesson. Lisa greets him with a "Buono giorno," and he thinks that is perfecto. Lisa says that she's been studying and even made some flashcards. Milhouse rips the flashcards in half and throws them in the air, and Lisa is crestfallen by the loss of her efforts. Milhouse states that you don't learn Italian, you live Italian. He invites her to hop on his moped to visit Little Italy, but first, some classroom business. He pulls out a clipboard, calls out Lisa's name, and she replies "here," thereby completing attendance.
Well, Milhouse and Lisa arrive in Springfield's Little Italy, birthplace of beef oghetti. Milhouse struts confidently down the rustic street, dressed as Don Fanucci from The Godfather, Part 2. So residents of the community greet Milhouse happily in Italian, and then they visit a gelato cart.
Un gelato per la bella ragazza.
One gelato for, the pretty girl.
Mr. Milhouse, thank goodness. Could you translate and help me buy cheese for my lasagna?
But Luigi, surely you speak Italian?
No, I don't. I only speak, fractured English. That's what my parents spoke at home.
Had a wonderful time today. Grazie. Grazie mille.
I'm the luckiest boy in the world!
Don't be in love, stupid!
I like Nelson just driving around, presumably on Martin's bike, telling people not to fall in love. High in the sky, the Cheery Red Tomatoes skydive out of a plane one by one. As they fall towards the earth, Marge tells Tammy that she's never had the confidence to do this if it weren't for them. Tammy thanks her and tells Marge that they have a little surprise for her waiting down below. Now Marge really hopes their chute opens. Tammy and Marge take each other's hands, and the other women of the group join them, creating a circle formation for the fall. Mo falls through that hole, shouting "Goodbye, cruel world," before politely greeting the ladies. I don't know where he jumped from, though.
Yeah, he's faster.
Yeah.
For some reason. Is he dead then?
Presumably. I mean, I don't know any other conclusion that I could draw from that.
This is really funny that Marge is or she really hopes that her chute opens now. She was just hoping it did, and then now she's really hoping it does.
Yeah, the prospect of dying. That's cool, I guess, but a surprise? Ooh.
Well, back on land, or terra firma, as us intellects would call it, Tammy removes Marge's blindfold to reveal that they are hereby inducting her as a full member of the Cheery Red Tomatoes. And so as the women clap, Tammy pushes the pink hat over Marge's beehive there, and Marge describes how she feels. And then, in this clip, we learned what the Cheery Red Tomatoes are all about.
I feel a happiness I've never felt. I not only have friends, I have a hat to prove it.
Now, Marge, as a full member, you get to share in all our secrets.
Like our recipe for mock apple pie. The secret is it's got apples in it.
And now we can tell you the secret plans for our fundraiser. This year, we're going to steal $1 million from Mr. Burns.
You're joking. You've got to be joking.
If you stole $1 million from Mr. Burns, he wouldn't even know.
No.
Steve, I have an idea. I think we should steal $1 million from Mr. Burns.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
But we should steal cold hard cash, not some sort of cliched item of value.
Yeah, he would know the item of value is missing. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
we open his vault. Is he like Scrooge McDuck? Like, does he have a vault of gold coins that he jumps in and swims around in?
I would assume that all millionaires, billionaires have a swimming pool full of coins. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So Tammy opens the curtain to reveal the grand scheme. There's blueprints to Burns Manor's, photos of the estate, key code and safe combinations, and a photo of Smithers with a note asking, why no girlfriend? Marge realizes that they are joking and asks if there are any other surprises. And Tammy admits that she's not a natural redhead. So all this new information causes Marge to pass out.
After she comes to, Marge tells her friends that she can't steal, not even from Mr. Burns. So Tammy explains that Monty promised $1 million to Springfield's Children's Hospital. She then flashes back to Mr. Burns presenting the giant check to the medical facility, but then decides to use the money to extend his life for the next 10 minutes. So he asks Smithers to write void on the giant check and to X out the entry on the giant check register. It's very funny. Seeing the crowd at the hospital all boo, so Mr. Burns releases the hounds, and then Tammy wonders why Burns would bring attack dogs to a charity event. And Monty explains that he was taking them to the groomers. He then uses baby talk to call one of the hounds a stinky dog, saying that Michelle's going to work on him.
Oh, yeah. So back with the Cheery Red Tomatoes, Tammy informs the group that there are 12 Fabergé eggs in Burns' vault, each worth a small fortune. Now, my own personal commentary, and maybe at this time it's not so much, but Fabergé eggs are a thing, and I think we've talked about this before, that are just so ensconced in cartoon and a silly, like, thing of value. The Simpsons, notoriously, like, Krusty being addicted to Fabergé egg omelets and just all that. It's just a funny thing. But the eggs are attainable, but they will require Marge's special skill. So Marge is apprehensive about the plan, and later, Homer begins to grow suspicious of Marge's activities.
When I joined, I never thought we'd be robbing people.
You said you wanted friends, and the one thing about friends is that they stick together, especially when they're trying to pull off $1 million heist. Maybe we were a little too quick to give you that hat.
Take back the hat. She deserves bear hair.
Bear hair! Bear hair! Okay, I'm in.
You ladies doing okay down there?
Sorry to wake you, Stanley. Don't let us down, newbie.
Welcome back to Fox Sports with 2 classic Fox Sports facts.
Hey, Marge, where you going?
Oh, well, I'm bird watching.
Wait a minute. If she's going bird watching, why did she leave our Peterson's Field Guide to Birds on the kitchen counter? Roadrunners are real!
Did you just learn today that roadrunners were real from watching this, Steve?
Yes. And they're ambivalent towards coyotes in general. They don't really care.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would.
How old were you when you realized that roadrunners were a real bird and they don't look like that?
It wasn't the roadrunner. Like, I just assumed it was real. Mm-hmm. It was the Tasmanian devil that when I was a kid, when I found it was an actual animal, I was like, wait, it's not like an animal that... Like, I decided they made Tasmanian devil up.
Yeah, I think I was in the same boat. Like, I thought that, like, I conflated it with a fictional, like, cryptoid, like a chupacabra or a Jersey devil.
Right.
Like, it was
exactly
like an Australian, like legend of an animal, but not an actual creature. Yeah. That makes sense, yeah. And
they don't, go around going, blah, 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 and spin around in tornado circles.
No, they just kind of look like funny little, cute little bear dog things.
Yeah. What about, like, the Wolverine? Mm-hmm. The animal, like, and the comic book character Wolverine. I probably assumed. No, I don't know if I ever assumed that wasn't. It's just they aren't yellow and blue.
Mm-hmm.
And have claws, 3 giant metal claws coming out of them.
And they
don't smoke cigars.
They rarely call people bub.
Rarely. They do, but rarely.
Yeah, it's got to be a special person. I also like that they have a Peterson's bird guide, just to keep it in the kitchen, just in case.
Well, where else are you going to keep your Peterson's bird guide, Steve? The den?
That's a good point, because you're looking out the window and you see like, oh, there's a pigeon. I'm finally done.
You don't sit out like sipping your morning coffee, looking out the window, contemplating life, and then a bird comes by, like, I wonder what breed of bird that is, and then you got your guide right there.
That does sound very nice, very pleasant.
I guess now you could just ask Alexa or Siri, like, hey, what bird is that? I'm like, Craig, you idiot, I can't see.
So insulting, your personal assistant calling you an idiot.
Yeah.
So, in her bedroom, Lisa brushes her hair as she sings of Milhouse teaching her to speak so prettily. She continues to sing about speaking wittily in Italy, and then blows a kiss to a picture of Milhouse. She steps into the backyard to find Milhouse playing cards with Bart, with a little girl on his lap. After Lisa asks what's going on, Milhouse tells Angelica to run along, but not too fast, eh? He growls hornily at the brunette before explaining to Lisa that Angelica was just the appetizer, but Lisa is the main course. Lisa unloads on Milhouse, shouting at him in Italian, which I'm not going to try and do the Italian, but it translates to, I'm so crazy about her, I thought we had something going, and then I'll take it out on this slut. She makes me sick. Aside from the grammar being a little confusing, it's just funny that Lisa's saying slut.
Yeah.
Milhouse is impressed with Lisa's perfect Italian, and Lisa politely says grazie before calling him an idiota, and then grabbing an olive branch from the tree that they always had, that olive tree, and chasing him through the hills of Springfield, much like his Nona did back in Tuscany.
Steve, I got some trivia real quick. Is that okay?
I guess so.
Time?
Yeah.
Okay. So the very next episode is called The Italian Bob, and the Simpsons travel to Italy, with one of those places they visit being Rome, and which of course that's where Lisa wants to study abroad. And then Lisa's shown speaking some Italian and also translates various words and phrases for her family. And none of them are fluent like she is. So it's kind of like a weird continuity.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think it was, I'm not sure if like the Italian Bob's production number, I didn't do the research, but it's almost like, was this like episode like an afterthought? I'm like, oh, should we explain why Lisa knows Italian? Quick, write an episode.
And Bob's Italian too.
It's like one of the few times of like continuity, yeah.
Not that they're not.
So was your uncle?
It was just a coincidence.
Okay, fun. I like that. Well, looking to learn more, Homer checks out Marge's accordion folder full of clippables and keepables. There's a file for recipes, one for dress patterns, the toaster undercoating agreement, and one marked heist plans, Burns Mansion. So Homer realizes that is Mr. Burns' mansion, although it's spelled Manson in the original area, so spelled incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
So as Burns and Smithers leave the mansion, Monty asks Waylon to remind him that he needs to get his eyes reballed and his brain flushed out with vinegar. Smithers likes being reballed. Waylon agrees, then tells Monty that his niece will be back from the shop tomorrow.
Nice. So once Burns drives away, the Cheery Red Tomatoes, in cute little pink beanies and sneaky black turtlenecks, tiptoe through a tunnel and arrive at the other end, where Tammy opens a thin vent. She then calls on Marge to step into action, as she's the only one skinny enough to squeeze through that vent. Marge is kind of shocked to learn that her special skill is being thin, but Tammy explains that she's clearly not a master of disguise with that do. I gotta say, if I have a small critique of this episode, Tammy's most interactions with Marge are just talking about her hair. Just a little weird.
Oh yeah, it is a funny hair though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I never thought about it. But yeah, it is pretty tall and like people don't have hair like that, and it's blue.
I just now noticed that. Yeah, the first time ever.
Huh. I rescind my critique. That's a fair point. I guess if I were in Tammy's shoes, I would also talk about her hair a lot.
If you were also in her shoes, like, ow, my feet hurt, because her feet are probably smaller than yours.
That's a good point. Yeah, and she seems like she'd wear sensible shoes, but yeah, if they're a size that are too small, it'd be very painful.
And if they're heels, you can't walk in heels. You've never done it.
You don't know me, Craig.
Oh, that's true. I don't.
Tammy responds that it's all right. Marge says that she thought that Tammy liked her hair, and Tammy responds that it's all right. Marge climbs through the vent and opens the gate to Burns' mansion.
So Homer is speeding down the street, eager to stop Marge before she does something reckless and irresponsible. So he then drives through an art fair, crashing through many pieces and nearly running over several people. So he then runs a red light, almost causing an accident. Then Chief Wiggum witnesses from his squad car and figures that they should go after him. He tells Eddie to stay behind and direct traffic, since he's the graceful one. So as Eddie directs the cars with style and panache, Wiggum is impressed by the way he teases a Subaru. He can't figure out why he can't get a girlfriend.
I wonder, because there was a joke earlier about when they showed the plan, there's a thing about Smithers not having, why doesn't he have a girlfriend? And I'm just wondering if this is like kind of a little bit of a homophobic joke where Eddie is dancing with style, which must obviously mean in 2005 that he must be gay. And I wonder if it's like the same kind of like implication.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Usually I say no to your theories, but this one I'll say yes to.
I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me a chance.
All right, you got it, bud.
Yay. Back at the Burns estate, Agnes, Lamb of God Skinner, has acquired the safe combination through questionable means. But it may be all for nothing once the police arrive.
I got the combination from Burns after I let him feel me up during the Depression. 0 to the right, 0 to the left, back to 0.
Marge, I wanted to save you from the cops, but the cops followed me. Game over, man. Game over! So, are you going to introduce me to your friends?
Don't worry, Mr. Burns. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Excuse me, Lou. I'm supposed to say that. Acting like the chief doesn't make you the chief.
If I was acting like the chief, I'd need size 58 pants.
Now, here we go with the fat jokes. You know, I just wish you could hit the easy targets on the firing range so well. Lou, why do we hurt each other so?
Because sometimes it's easier to be cruel than to say what you really feel. Permission to hug, Chief?
Permission? Granted. Granted, Lou.
I like, the reference to Aliens with the game over, man, game over.
R.I.P.
L-E-Y. Ripley is the main character of Aliens.
R.I.P. Bill Paxton. Game over, indeed.
Oh, God.
Jesus. Everyone likes Bill Paxton, and I understand too, but are we liking him because he's a bad actor, or am I weird?
See.
Because he wasn't a good actor, right? But people...
Yeah. I think you might... it's hard to say because I don't want to, disrespect the dead, but yeah, I don't think he was a great actor. Yeah.
No, he wasn't good, but we all liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we like him? I'm confused. People love Bill Paxton. Again, nothing against Bill Paxton, but his performances were always awful.
Yeah, very hammy.
Am I going to be canceled because of this comment?
I'm gonna say something about a different actor, and so I can get canceled more so because I think mine might be just as controversial. I think we need to stop with Nick Cage. I think it's cruel at this point. I don't think he knows. I don't think he's in on the joke, and I think we're all kind of being mean to him.
I thought you were going to say Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I mean, that too, but...
Okay.
I just feel don't get me wrong. 2 of my favorite movies are Raising Arizona and Adaptation, both of which star Nicolas Cage. But I think at this point, he doesn't know, I don't think the tongue is in the cheek. I think that he is just taking roles, and I think we're kind of laughing at him and not with him. And so, yeah, I know this is not anything we're talking about, but I'm worried about Nick Cage.
And I'm worried about you too, Steve.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem. I gotta go now. Bye.
Of all the impressions we've done in the 5 years plus that we've done the show, that was the best. Truly.
But also the worst.
Yeah, which proves my point.
Okay. All right. Hey, Steve, I'm frustrated. And so is Mr. Burns. Because while Clancy and Lou are canoodling, someone is burgling his miscellanea. Homer helps the Cheery Red Tomatoes out with their loot when a loud gunshot is heard. It's Monty with those old-timey rifles. So he states that he's a rooster with a beak that calls out, "Death the doodle-doo." So Monty is stunned to learn all of the culprits are women. So Homer points out that he's not. And, well, that may be true. Burns says that Homer certainly is buxom and flirty. And then Homer blushes, saying that he tries to have a good time. And Marge explains what she wanted in an emotional plea.
All I wanted to do was join a group of women who wore the same outfits.
Oh, no jury on earth will convict a bunch of moist-eyed mothers. I'll tell you what, ladies. Give me my eggs back and I'll let you go.
And tell me I'm not fat.
Well, I guess our fundraiser was a failure.
Don't be so sure.
Ah, Marge, I love you. But to be safe, sweetie, I don't think we can ever see each other again.
I'll really miss you guys. I'll never forget the 3 activities we did together.
I like the kind of joke of Lily Tomlin's character being like, I don't think we could ever see each other again because, she's just doing a guest spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Not an established character that will remain. And then, did Homer's, line reading kind of remind you of, Lucille Ball? And tell me I'm not fat. It just kind of reminded me of Lucy.
I could see that, definitely, yeah. I thought this was fun. So Homer tells Marge that no matter where she goes in life, she'll always have one friend who loves her body and soul. He adds that there are certain things that he can do that no other friend can. Special things. He chuckles, and then in the next scene, we see Homer and Marge having a gourmet meal high in the sky in a hot air balloon, which logistically just doesn't sound like it'd work well. It'd be really windy, and you'd forget a napkin or something. I don't know. Marge admits that is, though, pretty special, and then they hear a thud. It's Moe. He's landed on top of the balloon, and he can't believe that this has happened to him twice, thereby implying that not only did he not die when he was there with them in the sky when they're skydiving, but he tried to kill himself yet again, and once again, he fell on top of a hot air balloon.
I think it's funny that they didn't need to explain that Moe wasn't killed. Because, there's many times he tries to commit suicide.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they, ended it with that joke.
Mm-hmm. It's great because it's somehow darker because he tried to kill himself twice in one episode. But it's also reassuring because you know that he's fine.
Moe's what's that fictional character that can't die?
Superman?
No, Superman could die. He's been dead before.
Invincible?
Is Invincible? Yeah. Is he invincible?
I mean, it's in the name.
I thought his dad could kill him.
Yeah, I guess. Omega Man. He's probably close to invisible because he's invincible. Because
wasn't there wasn't there a character who's I can't die and all he wants to do is die?
Yeah.
Is it a Doctor Who episode that I'm thinking of?
'Tis the season. Are you thinking of Jesus Christ?
No, he came back the other day. Damn it. And the only way to
that just sounds so. This is really dorky, but in the Sandman comics, there is a character who wishes they can't die, and so every 100 years, Sandman and him go to a pub and grab a pint, and they talk about their lives. And he gets real bummed out and depressed because he can't die, and he sees all of his friends and families just die over and over again.
I think I remember him now. I think it's South Park, and I think it's Kenny.
Yes.
There's an episode where it's revealed that when Kenny dies, his mother just gives birth to him over and over again, but they all forget that she has to go through the labor pains
God.
every time he dies, and then he regenerates back to his 10-year-old body. That's it. That's how. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, I got it. Okay. Steve, I don't think we should be talking about South Park. I think we should take a break because the episode's over, and come back and wrap up.
Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. All right, we're back. Sorry, I know you were happy to have us away, but it has only been maybe 10 seconds. Hope you missed us, Steve. Let's wrap up the episode. The last of the Red Hat Mamas. We'll talk about some of our favorite jokes, give an MVJ, most valuable jokester, give a little review, find out what we're watching next week, then say goodbye. But before we do all that fun stuff, we like to give gifts. And there's plenty of options from this episode that would make great gifts. Would you agree with that?
I would say so, yeah.
Well, We kind of talked about it. Maybe you should close your eyes and then open your mouth, and you might get a big surprise, Steve. Go ahead and open your eyes right now.
Oh.
That's right. I have a gun pointing at your mouth. Now, it's either two things, Steve. It's either a frosting gun or an actual gun.
Sounds like a win-win to me.
Put your hands around the handle there and then pull the trigger whenever you're ready.
All right. 3, 2. Zap!
It was the frosting gun, Steve.
Woof. Really dodged a bullet there.
Dumb. That's right. I got you a frosting gun.
Thanks, Greg. I love it.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I got you some gifts, too. I got you some definitely very real food stamps that have my picture on them, eating some french fries. And, you know, when you're outside looking at your squirrels, I thought maybe you'd get curious. So I also got you a Peterson's Bird Guide. I wanted you to find all the cockatoos, the titmice, and the boobies that your heart could desire.
Oh, I only got you one gift. Here, you can have a Easter basket that doesn't have a...
Ooh, I can put my eggs in there. Ooh, I can put my eggs in there. Ooh, I can put my eggs in there.
Steve, you know what they say. Don't put all of your... I forgot the line. Never mind.
That's
something about a basket and eggs. I forget what it is. Anyway, Steve, invest all your money in crypto. That's all I'm saying.
Good call.
Well, Steve, the presents are out of the way, and now it's time to make way for some jokes. Steve, what made you laugh in this episode?
Like, the thing that made me laugh the most, I think, my most valuable, I don't know, jokester, but my most favorite, the funniest scene to me was Homer imagining Marge's new friend, the dolphin, and then the thought of infidelity between Homer and the dolphin, so Marge shooting them with the harpoon gun. It's just so silly, so fun. I also like the Mo joke. I think the payoff is so beautiful with him landing on the hot air balloon and being like, I can't believe this happened twice. It's a nice example of tell, don't show. I like Skinner. Wanted to hear Lisa speak Italian, but not now. Or tomorrow, because tomorrow's horrible. And yeah, so those are probably my 3 favorite jokes. If I had to give a jokester, I think Marge was funny, but I think Homer was dumb, sweet, and funny this episode. I really liked him, like, being like, oh, I gotta stop Marge before she does something irresponsible, and then drives to the art fair, being very irresponsible and dangerous. You know, him being so sweet and, like, writing a note and doing a drawing for Marge, saying that I hope she had a good time, and then falling asleep at the door. I thought Homer was sweet, so Homer's my guy. What about you, Craig?
Let's give it to Lisa today. You convinced me, and so it's your fault, that when she was just ignoring Sherry O'Terry, that's very funny to me. And then her, like, being jealous of Milhouse and him tutoring other girls is also very funny. It's that trope of, like, you see it all the time in TV shows where, you know, if a person always ignores the advances of another person because they're just not interested, and, like, it's the joke, it's a running joke that all TV shows do.
Yeah.
But then when that person does all of a sudden, like, find love or can be with another person, then that the rejectee is now jealous, you know? So it's kind of fun. And Milhouse, you know, having something that Lisa needs in the form of the language, you don't see it much, you know? It's a win for Milhouse.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though he's still a creep. His whole family's a bunch of creeps.
They're all awful.
But Lisa being a jealous person is great because she thinks she's better than that type of mentality, but she's not.
Yeah.
So, and then Marge is fun too. But yeah, I mean, Homer, of course, is dumb. Homerism is always funny. But I'm giving it to Lisa.
Good.
Steve, if you had to give this episode a ranking, or, you know, really, how did you feel about this? Just give me a nice 45-minute review with no stops or no breaths and no using ands, ors, ums.
All right. Well, Craig, the episode that we reviewed last week, kind of the Cave Mom, it's funny because we talked about how much we liked that episode, not because of the humor or the jokes, but because of the stellar storytelling and like the parallels between the Cave Marge and the modern day Marge, and just how well the story was crafted. And I feel like this episode is the exact opposite. The plot is kind of dumb. We have, like you say, the tropey B story of Milhouse and Lisa, like, almost falling in love with Milhouse just because he's seducing her with the language of love and art and music of Italian. And we've seen it so many times, like you said, probably in Family Ties. I know that there's an episode of My Name is Earl where Randy seduced the woman's name who I don't remember, but It's a very common thing. And then also the Marge plot, the use of Fabergé eggs and the heist, it's all silly and dumb. But here's the thing. It was funny. Like, I had a really good time. I thought the little sketch up front with the Easter eggs, we've seen the Ralph one a lot, and I think that we're both kind of a little Ralphed out. But I liked Nelson eating the robin's eggs. I thought that Homer and Bugs Bunny getting in a fight, that was fun. I liked the Martha Quimby stuff. I liked that she had a voice that was kind of like this deadpan, her kind of just like so tired of Quimby's infidelities, and she hits a button and like the women come dancing down. I thought that was fun. And I think that the jokes were solid. I think Lily Tomlin did a great job. It is a little bit of the moment because at the time, probably the Red Hat Society was a lot more like in vogue and in conversation. And even though there are so many members now, we don't talk about them anymore. But I think that this is like a solid, good episode, not a great episode, not like the best episode, but with jokes that you remember, and like maybe a joke from this episode will slip into your like everyday usage and you won't even think about it. And then one day you'll revisit this episode and be like, oh, that was funny. If I had to give this like some sort of numerical ranking, as we mentioned, there are currently 35,000 members of the Red Hat Society as of 2024. So out of 35,000, I'm going to give this a solid 29,562 out of 35,000. What about you, Craig?
No surprise, I'll agree with you. When we're talking about how sincere the last week's episode like you were, and then this is just being like a total balls to the wall sitcom, I think it works. And like I think in our viewing order too, it's fun how we went from that serious episode where I think if we were watching a little bit more serious tone kind of episode after another one, we probably wouldn't have liked it as much as the Planet of Caveman episode. But this just like going all out, like Homer just being dumb, the tropes with Lisa and Milhouse and even Marge and the Fabergé eggs, like you say about cartoons. Not a lot of Bart in this episode, but that's fine. Lisa and Marge got to shine in this episode. It's really their episode, which, usually the episodes people like are the Bart or, Homer ones, because it is Bart Simpson featuring Homer and Maggie too, The Simpsons, the TV show. So yeah, I agree. It was a lot of fun, and it's one that I'll be happy to watch, in reruns or if it's just on TV. Not a skip at all. So if I gave this a ranking, Steve, Lily Tomlin, of course, was the guest, and her last credit as of now on IMDb was a film that people saw. People of a certain age, Steve. I don't think we were the right demographic. That was, of course, the sexy hit 80 for Brady. And so if I had to rank this out of 80, I'll give it a 69 for Brady.
Nice. Now whose balls are deflated?
I heard that movie was cute and fun. People liked it.
Yeah, I've heard like it was enjoyable.
And I like all those ladies, I'm just not a big Tom Brady fan. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not patriots over here. I mean, when it comes to January 6th, we're patriots. But
of
when
course,
it comes to football patriots, we're not patriots. It should have been like, I'm trying to think of a sports star that, well, okay, like if we were, like as an adult, we're not really like, I love sports men because we're adults. Like, I don't think I have an adult sports hero. We're not horny for a Tanhei. I mean, we'll gamble with them, but we won't.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it'd be like Wayne Gretzky, right? It should have been like 99 for Gretzky. That doesn't work, but.
I get what you're saying, though. I wish Chris Pine played sports because it could be like 79 for Chris Pine, which only works because of the rhyme, but.
I'm a little distracted right now, Steve, because I have the IMDb page for 80 for Brady and like a trailer's playing, but no audio. But then like Guy Fieri was in it. Guy Fieri's in this movie, Steve. How come we haven't? If we ever do our Patreon, Steve, we're allowed to watch 80 for Brady and review it. But again, we're not there on the Patreon yet. Eventually, right?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Well, before we get there, Steve, I think we need to get to next week's episode of The Simpsons. How about that?
That sounds good.
All right, Steve. So, no Wheel of Random again. Wheel of Random gets to have another week off because we're going live, Steve. Well, not us going live, but The Simpsons are back, season 35, episode 14. Steve, what do you think the title is?
Well, let's see. So this is going to air in the first couple weeks of April, like April 7th. So we talked about earlier about like what holidays or what occurs in April. And the only thing that I can really think of is Tax Day. So I think it's going to be called Tax E Carumba Confessions.
Like Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yeah, that show from HBO from 20 years ago. But it's about taxes.
Do they air those episodes on Max?
I'm sure they do, yeah. Drunk people and some mild nudity. It's a good time. And people are like, what's a taxi?
It's what Uber is.
Yeah.
Don't do what Uber, Lyft want. No. Well, Steve, of course, like always, you're wrong. But it seems like there is a money type theme because taxes are about money, right?
Yeah.
This one's called Night of the Living Wage.
Oh.
So there's
Night of the Living Wage.
Money in it, Steve. What do you think the synopsis would be for an episode with that title?
Night of the Living Wage. I think that Bart gets a night job working at the Quickie Mart to make a little extra money so he can buy a brand new bicycle. He gets a costume and he disguises himself so he's not actually Bart, but he's like an adult. And so Pooh, who returns in this triumphant episode with a new voice actor, of course, they do a little joke in it too, like, you don't sound like Bart, and like, or you sound familiar, and I'm like, you don't sound familiar because it's a new actor, and that's a little joke. But yeah, so Bart gets a job working overnight at the Quickie Mart, and in a B story, Lisa gets a Brazilian butt lift.
Wow, Steve, you are so excited for the return of Apu, because that's correct. It's all correct. In fact, do you want to know who the new voice of Apu is?
I sure do.
It's Timothy Chalamet.
Seems like what Hollywood would do at this point.
No, you dummy. Of course you're wrong. You're always wrong. You're never right on this podcast. Everything you say is wrong and false and stupid.
It's true.
April Fools? Now, look, this is what the internet has told me, and now I'm telling you, and I'm telling the listeners, that Night of the Living Wage is actually about Marge getting a job in a high-pressure ghost kitchen. Now, Steve,
ooh,
you're not scared. It's not an actual kitchen of ghosts, okay?
Oh,
yeah,
ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, no. But when she tries to start a union, she gets more than she's collectively bargained for. We all know. We all know what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steve, Cesar Maziragos wrote this episode, and we just mentioned him last week's episode because he was the fictional rapper in that episode.
Yes, of Gigante Violencia, or Valencia Gigante. Yeah, that's exciting.
No word of a B story. Oh, I'm putting my fingers to my ear like a reporter. Yeah, I'm getting no news of a B story, but I guess we'll have to find out next week if there is a B story.
I guess Jerry Seinfeld's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he's at the local high school looking for a new wife.
That makes sense. I've got Pop-Tarts. Come on.
Let's go ahead and get the fuck off this podcast. So we want you guys to get the fuck on our social medias. You know, you got Instagram, YouTube at 138Simpsons, or email us at 138Simpsons at gmail.com.
And hey, if you're so kind, go to your favorite podcatching app and leave us 5 stars or the equivalent. But you don't need to write a real review. Just tell us your favorite phrase in Italian. And hey, while you're there, click on the microphone, leave us a voicemail, do an impression, ask us a question, or just tell us your heist plans. But be secretly so the police don't catch you.
Yeah, and hey, if you want some merch from our podcast, we got some logos up there. You can get on a shirt or a mouse pad or a hoodie, and even things that aren't our logo. Like, hey, there's a fun John Phillips Sousa Metallica t-shirt that just says Sousa in the Metallica font. That's fun. Get that shirt. People will think you're a nerdy metalhead, which, yeah,
that's right.
We all know you metalheads are nerds anyways. tpublic.com/user/annoyedgruntboys.
That's right. Thank you so much for listening. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell everybody you know.
All right, folks. Thanks again for listening. I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And remember, don't be in love, stupid.
I'm sorry I'm such an idiot.
Game over, man. Game over.